Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. Talk some high school sports. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, how are you?
Glad you could tear yourself away from some fifth grade basketball this morning.
Yeah, always. I'm about to head out the door to some fifth grade basketball. Actually, a little bit older, so
nice.
But yeah, always big time to you guys on a Saturday morning here.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Before we get into some high school football, real quick, the Press's cross country all-stars in today's Press of Atlantic City. Alyssa Aldridge, obviously your runner of the year. Talk a little bit about her and what she's accomplished this year from Mainland Regional sophomore. Just an incredible runner and really an amazing start to her high school cross-country career.
Yeah, really amazing. I mean, she finished second in the meet of champions as a freshman last year, and I remember joking with her at the first major meet of the season back in September, the Cherokee Challenge. I said to her, do you feel any pressure? Because there's really only, when you finish second at the meet of champions as a freshman, there's really only one place to go to improve, and that's to win it, and that's a lot of pressure. But she handled it really incredibly. She's got one more cross-country race. She's out in San Diego today at Balboa Park, running in the Foot Locker National Championship, one of 40 runners, 40 girls from around the country who will compete in that race. And, I'll be talking to her later today after that race, so we'll have a story online later today at pressofac.com and in the paper tomorrow. And I think the thing that really sets Alyssa Aldridge apart, she's the third third Cape League boy or girl to ever win the Meet of Champions. Obviously, Devin Grisbaum of Ocean City did it last year, and Brittany Sedbury of Ocean City did it in 2003 and 2004. But I don't ever remember a runner having the consistent season that Alyssa Aldridge did this year. She ran every Saturday. She won every Saturday, and she won with record time. She set the Cal record at Homedale Park, at Delsey. She set the course record at Hamilton Lake Park. So, I mean, just her sustained excellence. I mean, she never had an off day, from, Labor Day to Thanksgiving, and it's really just a remarkable season.
Talking with Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City, does a great job covering high school sports. Mike, last weekend was the culmination of the high school football season, championship weekend out there at Rowan University. A lot of great games. I was at the Cedar Creek West Deptford game, and Delsey winning its fourth straight championship. You had St. Joseph winning its seventh. Pennsville with that real emotional win over Clayton. Timber Creek coming, beating Shawnee. Some really amazing games, and what a weekend it was for high school football.
Yeah, it was a great weekend, and it was a great weather-wise. You had big crowds out there, but I think if you ask anybody who was there at Rowan who watched, I think it was, 6 football games at Rowan, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. What did people come away? They came away talking about Bo Melton of Cedar Creek. Really capped a remarkable season of big plays by leading Cedar Creek to that comeback win over West Deptford. And, the football all-stars will be in the paper tomorrow and online later today, so that's something to look forward to. But really, it was Bo Melton who really who did everything, ran for touchdowns, threw for touchdowns, caught touchdown passes, that really made the big plays, and I think really captured people's imagination out at Rowan last weekend.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, in the preseason, I was doing some work with the Cedar Creek team, and some of the coaching staff was like, hey, because all the talk in the preseason obviously was about Amir Mitchell and his signing with Michigan, and they said, hey, watch out for this kid, Bo Melton. He might be just as good, if not better. And I was like, really? Better than a kid going to Michigan? So it was hard to believe at that point, but then you see how the season unfolded, and obviously Amir was double teamed a lot of the season, so he didn't put up the kind of numbers that you might expect from a top Division I talent, but he did a lot of the little things as well, played great defense all year, and this whole team really did so much with the talent they had. It was really impressive to see.
Yeah, it was. And, the thing that really stood out about Bo Melton to me was he affected a football game the way I've seen few kids affected as far as sort of taking the game over the way you'd see guys take a basketball game over. It's tougher to take a football game over. There's 22 guys on the field. There's, a limited amount of, touches. Basketball players can touch the ball on every possession. But with his big play ability, he really dominated football games, where you see a very good basketball player sort of take over a basketball game at clutch time. So, I mean, like you said, great job by Cedar Creek going out there and winning that championship. And the way they won it, beating really two of the top programs in Group 2. They go to Haddonfield and beat the two-time defending champs on the road, and then they beat a West Deptford team that is the class of Group 2 and then won 6 Group 2 titles since 2002. So, they didn't, backdoor their way into anything. Cedar Creek beat the Group 2 powers to win that championship. And now you have to look at Cedar Creek, runner-up in 2012, champion in 2015. Now you have to talk about them the way you talked about a Haddonfield or a West Deptford. They're one of those, perennial Group 2 powers.
What about Delsey? Sal Marquez over there runs an incredible program, and they're like a machine. I mean, they just keep cranking out champions. What is it about that program and that team that makes them so tough to beat in the postseason?
Well, I think just some teams know how to win, and when it comes to December, late November and December, Delsey wins. I mean, I saw Delsey midway through the season. I saw Hamilton go to Delsey and beat them 34-0. And, if you had told me that night that Delsey would win another South Jersey Group 3 championship, I would have said, we'll see about that. And I think that this season is a testament to the sort of mental toughness of Delsey, because after you lose a game like that on your home field, it's tough to come back from that. They could have easily packed it in and splintered, but they stayed together and got stronger and bounced back from that defeat, learned from that defeat, and go on and win another Group 3 championship. I think the thing about Delsey is they just play solid football. They don't beat themselves. They run the football. They don't turn the ball over. They play great defense, and if you do that, you're going to be pretty successful. But there, just some programs, Delsey Regional, St. Joe, Timber Creek, Shawnee. It's no accident you go to Rowan every first weekend of December every year, and the same teams are there.
We're talking with Mike McGarry of the Press of Atlantic City. Mike, this team doesn't get a whole lot of attention because they're way down there by the Delaware Bridge, but Pennsville with a big win over Clayton. Clayton was sort of the darlings of this championship weekend, and what a great win by Pennsville. I mean, kind of playing for one of their teammates that was hurt in an accident prior to the season, and he was in real bad shape there for most of the season. And how cool was that to see, at the high school level, to see a team really rise up and win for one of their guys and take home a championship in such emotional fashion?
Right, exactly. When you look at Pennsville, what sticks out about them is they have some Group 4 athletes at a Group 1 school, and that's what's really the difference there. And in Group 1, you had this story. You talked about the story with Pennsville, and you also had Clayton on one of the. I can remember when Clayton was an afterthought to South Jersey football, when people wondered if the Clayton football program was going to survive. And there they are in the final two. So really, two good storylines sort of colliding there in the Group 1 program. And you kind of hope what happened with Clayton. They moved to the West Jersey Football League, and they get to play schools of, similar talent level and similar enrollment, and they're able to rebuild their program. That's the theory behind, the Cape Atlantic League's moving to the West Jersey Football League. You hope, teams like Pleasantville, Middle Township, Lower Cape May can kind of follow the Clayton path to some postseason success.
Mike, we touched on this briefly in the opening, about just how emotional this vote is, separating non-publics from publics. What's your view on that? And, obviously we saw with the Bishop R, athletic director, kind of going off the rails there a little bit with his email. And but it just shows you how intense this, these two sides are when it comes to whether or not to separate the non-publics from the publics in football and wrestling.
Yeah, it's a very emotional issue, like you said, and everybody has an opinion. And believe me, I've heard about it. I heard about it the day of the vote, and heard about it the past couple of days. I'd say a couple things about the vote. First of all, I guess everybody's sort of hanging right now on what the Commissioner of Education will say about it. The Commissioner of Education has the ability to strike down the separation. That decision is kind of expected in the middle of January, and then by hearing the way people talk. There's going to be lawsuits, and you wonder if judges are going to issue a stay, and we'll have the current system while this matter sort of works its way out in court. I think the ramifications of this vote are just going to begin to, it's almost like throwing a rock in a pond. It's more like throwing, a boulder or, watching a meteor hit the ocean or something. The waves are going to starting to roll out from, that impact, and we're going to be feeling them for a long time. And you talked about, talking to some parochial school people, I think the feeling, and they're starting to formulate their plan. I think the feeling that they have is, hey, if the public schools are going to throw us out, parochial schools, what do we need the NJSA for, and what do we need the NJSA rules for? And that means, to me, the translation of that is, if the public schools think, parochial schools recruiting is bad now, wait till they're in their own leagues, sort of you haven't seen anything yet type of thing.
Mike, real quick, about 30 seconds left before we take a break. How excited are you for high school basketball season? You got Saeed Nelson and St. Augustine really looking strong. Atlantic City, Holy Spirit, all that stuff's getting started pretty soon.
Yeah, always good to head indoors. And next Saturday we'll be at Tom Williams' event down there in Ocean City, Wildwood Catholic versus Southern Regional. I'll be at that game. It's a great game. I took you to St. Augustine scrimmage. I was laughing with Saeed Nelson. He was a 5'2" freshman. Now he's a 6'1" guy with looks like an athlete, can dunk the ball. So it's going to be great to get indoors and like you said, see St. Augustine, Atlantic City, Ocean City girls. Love the basketball season.
Good stuff. I appreciate it, Mike. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thanks. Anytime for you guys.
All right. Thanks, Mike. That was Mike McGarry, the press of Atlantic City. Always enjoy getting his breakdown of area high school sports.